Welcome to Live at the Blue Box. We are ready for our second show of the evening. It is, I already forgot the date, June 11th, 2015. We are debuting a new show tonight. We'll see how this goes. Trust me, no matter what,
it's going to go great.
It's going to go great, but it's going to get better as we get used to this show.
Yes.
It's a new show. You're also going to have to pretend that you're talking to the microphone.
No, and don't pretend that, actually.
Just don't crunch into it anymore.
Do or do not, there is no try.
But this is our new show. It's called Binge Worthy. And basically, this is what we do. We all binge shows. So we're going to pick a show, talk it out. And actually, I don't know. We'll see. If there's time, we might talk about a couple of shows. And I had an idea. I think that at the end of this, we should kind of vote whether it was binge-worthy or not.
I think that's good. That's a great one.
So how creative, huh?
And you don't want to call it
No. No. Although I have seen a few shows that we could call it. Under the Dome. Well, season 2 anyway. Oh, man. Did you watch Under the Dome?
I watched a little bit of it. I did not get to season 2. It didn't intrigue me.
Season 2, man. Yeah.
we're ready.
It was like having a stroke every week for 13 weeks. Yeah. Yeah, I did. I felt like I had Stockholm Syndrome because I was loving it, and it was my captor and hating it at the same time. At first, it was just a mean captor, but by the end, I was in love with it, and I would do anything it said.
That's
Kind of like our mother.
Yes. Can you hear her?
no. Can you?
But she's now, because she keeps going like this. Do I need to turn this on? Your ADD is debilitating.
Well, I have sugar. I thought this was all.
Even Edward's spoken
It's not.
Hold on. Edward's spoken to the mic tonight, so
Yeah, right. All right, so let's get into this. So the show that we did for our premiere pilot episode of Binge Worthy.
Dun, dun,
We didn't
dun.
introduce ourselves.
no, we didn't.
Probably for the best.
Start in the middle.
Yeah, let's start with Munchcam here.
That would be Martha Southgate.
All right.
Okay. Good intro,
Well,
Edward.
we
I'm
usually
Edward
say
Lee.
something about like something that we do, like I'm co-owner of This Week in Geek.
Owner of Southgate Media Group.
Yes.
And
What
I
else do you
A
do?
lot of podcasts.
Yes, you do.
Can you name a couple?
Let's see. Chester's Mill Report, Cuckoo for Who, Doctor Who one. Ever After, Once Upon a Time.
Yeah, take it and talk. Yeah, you're done.
What's wrong?
You need to
I'm
hold the microphone.
Oh, it would help if the microphone was on. Oh, gosh, why does it sound like that?
Okay, let's try that again. I said
That
we
was
couldn't
your
hear. You
fault.
guys are out here nodding
Wow.
like, oh, we hear her.
I didn't even check to see if it was on.
People are being polite. It's politeness.
Okay, so I
That's
do.
great.
There we
So
go.
why don't you introduce yourself again?
Okay, I'm Martha Southgate. I'm co-owner of Southgate Media Group, and I do Chester's Mill Report, which is an Under the Dome podcast. An Orange is the New Black podcast. Once Upon a Time.
Ironically called the Orange is the New Black podcast.
Ever After, the Once Upon a Time podcast. Cuckoo for Who, a Doctor Who podcast. I had too many to name.
She used to do Pinheads, which was about Pinterest.
We did that for a little while.
I thought it was about Hellraiser.
Yeah, right.
Ooh, there we go.
Yeah, let's do one.
Let's do retro horror movies.
You want to do one about Pinhead? She's not even amused. She's in a food coma here from the chips. All right. So that's you.
Yeah,
How about you?
I am Chris Mao, owner of Blue Box Cafe, co-host of This Week in Geek and Counterculture podcast.
And a
I
utility
forgot that
player
one.
that's on everything.
There's
sorry?
too many. to
And a
remember.
utility player on everything
Yes.
at Blue Box.
Yeah.
I'm the fill-in guest host.
And
Yes.
our Comic-Con buddy.
And
Yes,
panelist.
Because Edward's abandoning us this
Yes,
weekend.
Edward hates us. But he's a panelist, and this will be the panel at Comic-Con in Des Moines this year.
Yep.
So line up.
Pretty exciting.
Woo! Yeah.
Call your friends and call your neighbors.
Yeah,
Yes.
right. And then I'm Rob Southgate, co-owner of Southgate Media Group, and I'm on a lot of podcasts too.
More than me.
Yeah, more than you. And probably arguably the biggest one is Enough Said, which is a Marvel podcast. If you're into like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all the Marvel stuff, we kind of talk about it on this show. We also talk about Benny Hill a lot on that show.
All right,
I
but
don't
not
know
today.
why. All right, let's get into
Today
this.
we're
So
talking
here
about
we are.
Silicon Valley.
Yes, we're talking. Well, what we did was we binged season 1 of Silicon Valley.
Did you had you already seen 2? I didn't even know there was a season 2.
I have seen it. I've been watching it. And I rewatched a big chunk of season. I've seen the shows many times. So
Is season 2 done
Yes.
yet?
No, it's in the middle. It's got 2 or 3 episodes left, I think.
Okay, so we can't count
We
that
need
one as
to
a
wait.
binge.
We need to wait.
So we'll do
we can-
season
No,
1
season 1's fine.
tonight. Because we had one that we binged, a micro binge this week, and we're like, it's only 4 episodes in.
Wayward Pines.
Wayward
Oh.
Pines.
You can't,
So
you can't binge until it's over.
Crazy.
I know. So in the
Or it's all out.
future, when that one's done, I want that to be a binge because, man, that show is nuts.
That's full of all
and it's
kinds
Matt
of
Dillon,
crazy.
who I always like.
Yes.
And
Okay.
Juliette Lewis and somebody else. Terrence
Lots of
Stamp or
people.
Terrence Malick or Terrence.
Whatever.
Howard.
He's not on
I
this
got
show.
it.
So this show, we did
Spoiler.
Silicon Valley.
Yes.
Has anyone here seen it?
Anybody watch Silicon
Anyone?
Valley?
Anyone? Bueller?
Bueller?
Okay, Silicon Valley is an HBO show. So if you have HBO, you can watch it. If you don't, get HBO Go, and then you can watch it.
Okay.
And go get it.
Yes.
It
Very good.
I have notes. Yes, while you're at it.
Yes.
And if you want to go back and binge Sopranos. One of the original HBO shows.
Yeah.
So-
That's a good call.
This
Season 2 with Richie
The
Aprile.
Thank
HBO.
you.
We should do that. We should do season 2 with Richie Aprile. That's the greatest season of
we
any
will
show
eventually
ever.
get to this show.
This needs to be a weekly show.
Game
We
of
need to. This needs to be a weekly show. We need to binge the hell out of all
Okay.
these shows.
So this show, Silicon Valley, I keep wanting to say silicone, but it's not. Silicon Valley. It was created by Mike Judge, John Altshuler, and Dave Krinsky. Okay, now I found this interesting while I was researching because I figured I'd have something to talk about. 'Cause
Yes.
Yes.
I have no memory to actually remember what the show is about.
Bring it up.
Mike Judge, of course, created Beavis and Butthead, Office
Yes.
Space, King of the Hill.
Yes. All amazing.
And if you have
Yes.
not seen Office Space,
yeah.
oh my
Well,
gosh,
most people
see
have.
Office
Yeah.
Space. I'm looking at the leads. See
Yeah.
Office Space.
Have you guys seen Office Space? Okay.
Okay.
It's great.
You
You
need
won't
to
get
see
it.
Office Space.
All right.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beavis and Butthead. Have you ever heard of that? Beavis and Butthead to America. Amazing
Yes.
movie.
I am no longer. I used to be Beavis, but I took out a food allergy and I'm all right now.
Yeah.
But there were
Still
many.
Butthead.
There were many cornholio.
Yeah,
moments
right.
In our house.
Yeah. And then King of the Hill. Well, and then go ahead.
It could
Okay.
be one of the greatest
So
TV shows ever.
John Altshuler did King of the Hill and Blades of Glory, and Dave
Lady
Krinsky
Humps.
did King of the Hill and Blades of
Or Lady
Glory.
Lumps,
And
that's
I
what it
thought they're a lot like Southgate Media Group, where we latch on, we
Right.
bring people into the fold, and then we drag them to
Well,
everything we do.
I'm
That's
sure
right.
Mike Judge probably found these guys, and then they went off and they did some things together, and it just kind of built that way. I'm sure that's
But
kind
they
of how
all
it worked.
worked. They just keep
Right.
doing projects together.
Yeah. Well, once again, it's like how we try to do our business.
This is
too.
so different than anything they've done.
Do you think?
I think it is dramatically different.
I don't think it is.
I don't know.
I don't think it is.
It's like a live action Beavis and Butthead.
No.
No.
Oh,
I-
no.
I'm just teasing. I'm saying.
I think it's much more.
I'm making the fun off the.
But I
off the
think it's
action
much
thing.
more Office Space. I think that there's a lot of
Oh,
elements
yes.
of Office Space. The way it's
Doesn't
written.
have the heart of Office Space.
You don't think?
Well, it's not as.
It
I think
doesn't-
Office Space
it
was
doesn't
more-
have the. I don't know. There was.
I think
something
Office Space
more.
was more of a flat comedy, a flat out comedy, where this is more. It's not as much of a comedy, even though it's funny. I mean, J.T. Miller is fantastic in it. He's
Yes.
very funny in it. And if it wasn't for him, yeah, it would be amusing, but he really ups it to a comedy level. I think Office Space was more of a straight comedy than this is. This is more, I'm not going to say it's a dramedy, but this is more.
There's not a lot of drama.
Office Space was very much a mockumentary, though. Kind of. It was
Yeah.
very. It was very spoofy
Yeah,
in
spoofy,
its manner. I think.
Yeah, I don't know how to describe it. This is different, though. It is
Right.
different, but I think this is closer to Office Space.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would be
I
a
would
good
agree
call.
with
You
that.
want to tell what the show is about?
Why
since
didn't
nobody
do
watches
that?
Okay. Well, the gist of the show is they are in Silicon Valley, and they all work for various computer companies, and in their spare time, they all do startups. So they're all
They're
making apps, or
young-
they're
Right.
young entrepreneurs, and they live in a
20-something,
they all live in a
30-something.
house owned by
J.T. Miller.
J.T. Miller's character, and they.
And it's
the-
an incubator.
It's an incubator.
It's actually T.J. Miller.
T.J. Miller,
Well, what about J.T.
T.J.
Hooker?
Yeah.
Yes.
So-
T.J. Miller.
So
Sorry,
basically,
TJ.
it's these four guys, and they work at a big something like a Google or one of those kind of things called Hooli.
yes,
And it's in Silicon Valley, and they live at T.J. Miller's place.
And he calls it an incubator.
Which is an incubator.
He brings in these kids, and then
they get to live there. And
he gets a cut
Right,
of anything they
Right.
create.
they get to use his hardware and everything. And if they come up with a successful idea, he gets 10%.
Right,
Which is a great idea. I wish that we had thought of that for Southgate Media
He's
Group.
very obnoxious.
Although it makes zero. So.
Right. And so what they do is they come up miraculously with this unbelievable program.
Well, not they. The
No,
one
just
guy.
Richard.
The one guy
Yeah.
does. He comes up with this great program, and then the story is how he tries to create this into a big company, like would be the next IBM, next Apple. That's how big of a program it is. And,
Yeah, it's
and how
huge.
this happens. So yeah, it's
And
gigantic.
he's an introverted tech geek, and so for him to be thrown into these companies with these high-powered entrepreneur businessmen who are billionaires.
Yeah, and these guys,
and they're
it's
just
Bill
playing
Gates
him, and he has no leadership skills.
None.
And he
Sergey
has
Brin,
no
it's all those kind of
social
guys.
skills, and he doesn't know what he's doing. And then the people around him are all similar to him. So it's interesting.
Right.
But Richard is played by Thomas Middleditch, and he was in Wolf of Wall Street. I don't know if anybody saw that, but
it's a
the
great
whole
movie.
time I'm watching the series, it was driving me crazy. I'm like, who is he? And we kept looking him up. We're like, he wasn't in anything that was. It was that he looks exactly like Freddie Highmore, who plays Norman Bates.
Now, wait a minute. You
on
keep
Bates
saying this.
Motel.
I see it.
Oh my God!
I don't think he looks exactly like Freddie Highmore, but
No,
he has something
Similar.
in his
Similar.
mouth.
It is insane.
He kind of
Yes.
The
has
same
frowny
thing.
face syndrome, where their mouth's going to go down like this.
Oh my gosh! It drives
Emma
me crazy.
on Once Upon a Time has frowny face syndrome too. Where she's
It's
kinda
called
down.
resting bitch face.
Yeah, okay. Is that
That's
what
the
it's called?
technical term for it.
I thought it was frowny face syndrome.
It's when
term.
you sit and then it looks like you're a crabby.
Oh, like my dad. See, look at that.
Wow.
Shot to him.
I don't see that.
No, I'm teasing. No. Oh, my mom's offended.
I'll laugh.
So he comes up with this program, and I like it because it's very techy. Everything that they talk
Yes.
about, they're talking about how it's music compression software, and he
Not
has
just
this idea.
that; it's everything.
Right.
But
yeah.
as soon as these guys that are like programmers see it, and they're like, ha ha ha, he's a dopey programmer. He came up with this thing, and then they realize very quickly,
Right.
it's a music compression program, but he's created an algorithm that is astounding. It
Sure.
takes like video compression. So if it takes, like, I was uploading stuff to YouTube yesterday. It took an hour and a half to upload.
That's because I started downloading Jesus Christ Superstar.
Yeah, she started downloading
From
Jesus
Molly.
Christ Superstar on the Apple TV while I'm trying to upload to YouTube
I
for the
had to
business.
show her.
And all of a sudden, it like makes
Bandwidth,
everything
right.
in the house stop.
It
I'm
was
like,
very
really?
funny.
Did the lights dim?
Yeah.
Bring your brown out?
It was amusing at the time.
Yeah. Oh, it was. I was laughing it up.
Yeah. I was
I
like,
had-
Rob,
Yep.
how long is yours going to take? He's like, an hour and a half.
Yeah.
for me to upload
But this
one.
program that Jonathan, is that his name? Jacob?
Richard.
Jared?
Richard.
That Richard came
Bill
up with will.
Frank, Lou.
Yeah, I don't know. It would take that same thing. If it took an hour and a half for me to upload it, with this compression software, it would drop it down to like
Second.
15 minutes.
Not even.
Not even. Like,
It was
it's-
second. It
It's
was.
like it's like 100th of what it is.
It was
It's
redundant.
like
Oh, okay.
crazy good.
Yeah.
Well, it felt like 15 minutes was 100th of what it
basically
was.
what it is
because
with
of
everything
the
on the cloud,
Jesus
he-
Christ Superstar thing that
He
happened.
he basically took anything that was downloaded or online or live stream and made it practical to use in every application. So
It's
and I mean,
amazing.
But
so-
he didn't even know what he had.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
He was just making music compression software so
Yeah.
people could share. And he had this whole thing about how it would identify like licensed music. That's really what he thought he had.
Right.
And then the big guys, the big Sergey Brin type guys, when they see it, they're like, oh, this is like amazing.
Start
stuff.
offering him like $10 million.
I love how the first guy,
you know,
the first guy he goes to is like, I'll give you $100,000 for that right now. And he's like, I $300,000. And then the other guy calls and goes, $10 million. I'll give you.
Yeah.
The other guy's like, I'll give you $300,000, but you get control and everything. It was a really interesting
Yeah.
insight into like how that could work. Because at first I was reacting the same way, like, wow, they're offering the guy $10 million. Like, at what point are you going to cap out?
Sure.
Okay.
But the other guy's point was so good.
The other guy he plays a character, Peter Gregory, and he's a billionaire eccentric, very
Yes.
introverted and nuts.
He builds an island.
And
I mean,
a
he's
genius,
nuts.
but he's really nuts. But he's played by Christopher Evan Welch, who died during filming. He had a heart attack. Did you know that?
No.
He had a heart attack. He had complications from lung cancer, and he died while they were filming.
That's
why
why
they
that's
had
why they
him
killed him.
move to the island and start working on that
wow.
bizarre island he was doing, because they had to phase him out. And they,
Well, that was before they knew he was going to die. He just got very sick, so they moved him.
No, not true at all.
Oh, I thought that's what you said.
They did it
I
after.
make it up.
They had him. They just had him go. Like, they never showed him again because they said, "Oh, he's out taking care of his island." But he was so brilliant during that
Right.
Burger King scene.
Oh, yeah.
And he.
Oh my
he
gosh,
gets-
the Burger
Right.
King.
He's like, "What is up with this Burger King?" And he
Yeah,
and
so-
he gets his people to go get him one of everything off the menu, and he sits and stares at it.
Right.
And then
the whole time there are two guys there that are trying to get him to fund. Like, he already was an investor in their company, and they said, we have until midnight. The funds are going to run out if you don't write a check. It was like $15 million.
Right.
If you don't write this check, all these people are going to get fired. We have to close our doors. We have till like midnight. And he never answers them. He just keeps going, have you ever been to Burger King?
Yeah.
And then he has them bring all these different things, and he sits and stares at him. And then the guys come in, and they're like panicked, and he's just like, the sesame seeds on this, do you see those on
yeah,
it?
don't
Like,
spoiler.
I'm not
but-
going to spoil anything, but he goes through this. It's just,
Yeah.
it's an amazing scene that has a
It
great
is.
payoff.
Well, and how he just thinks differently than anybody else in
Yeah.
the room, and
Yeah.
it just
You know what it reminded me of?
Me?
No, yeah, right.
My
yeah.
my geniusness. No.
Yeah, right.
exactly.
Yeah, if it sounded like
Because
this.
I come out with things like binge and bitch. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Uh-huh.
Bitch and man.
If I put a microphone up here right now, you'd hear. "Doot, doot, 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 doot."
Look at the lights.
Yeah.
It's like that
so-
Simpsons
everything's
when
so
it
bright
showed
and
inside of
colorful.
Homer's head, and it was just a turkey playing a violin, and they're just stamping. That's kind of what's going
That's
on right
it.
here.
We're not.
That's
we're
what
not
it shows on
binging that.
Meerkat right
we
now.
didn't binge that.
No, we
Not
didn't.
Simpsons.
Not yet.
Oh my gosh. No.
So we're
All
gonna do
29
27 years.
seasons or
Did you hear that they've announced that?
Oh, no, here we
in
go.
this
We got
season
them
of
off
Simpsons, Homer and Marge are getting divorced.
Oh, get
Separated,
outta
I
here.
heard.
Separated.
yes.
And
Boo.
there's something where like Bart gets killed in an episode or something. It's like they're just trying to kill the series at this point.
I think so. And by doing that, they'll
I'm
rejuvenate
not watching.
it.
No, they're not going to rejuvenate.
Okay,
it.
back
you don't
to
wanna
Silicon
watch.
Let's go back to
Valley.
Silicon
I want to
Valley.
watch Archer.
So I think the great thing
Let's
about this
binge
show
Archer.
is not only are they talking about how these kids come up with this idea, and then this whole like, hey, we're all of these friends are going to start like a Microsoft kind of thing. But
Right.
it's the eccentricity of all of these CEOs of these huge companies, like Gavin and like these guys that are just
Yeah,
complete whack
Peter
jobs.
Gregory.
But they came up with these unbelievable ideas, and they're billionaires.
Are
because
they
of it,
whack
so.
jobs, or are they just completely eccentric freaks?
No, they're whack. They're wacky. I mean,
Well, they're wacky, but there is a fine line there because,
It's called being on the spectrum.
Yes, it is. It's called being on the spectrum, and they definitely are. Peter Gregory is way
He is,
spectrum
and
heavy.
that is okay.
But you know what?
It's where I live.
The point I'm making is like when they're wacky, like there are people that are wacky, like Courtney Love is wacky. Like she's like off planet. These guys aren't off planet. They just see through a different
Yeah.
lens.
Sure.
No, they
Exactly.
do. And they're-
So what I was going to say, it reminds me. Remember in the first Superman movie with Christopher Reeve?
No.
When Lex Luthor is describing his genius,
Yes.
and he says, some people can read the back of a chewing gum wrapper and all this here ingredients. Others look at it and it unlocks the universe. That's what these guys are.
Yeah,
True.
sesame seeds. So, for me, I had a really hard time getting into the show. And I kept going, okay, just put on another episode. And then he'd put another episode, and I'd kind of sit there. I was really struggling with it. And then I go, put on another episode. And so I watched the whole thing, but I really struggled with liking any of the characters. And,
Well, you had a couple that you liked.
it was just hard for me, and then but there was
You
something
said you liked
there.
Patrick or whatever his name is,
No,
the lead guy.
I like Richard.
Richard.
But there was
You've
enough.
called them 8 different
I
things.
know,
Can't
it's
come
like-
up
That's
with his
horrendous.
name. I'm like, it's something
Steve,
basic.
Yeah, But I like him a lot. I think he's a really interesting character, and I like him. But the other ones, I was really not. I wasn't that impressed. And
but it's very Mike Judge-ish that
Yes.
they are very they're very one-dimensional.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Utilitarian.
It's their they
utility
pick up
characters
they pick
that
up
are-
their major flaws and then they really promote them.
Yes.
Which is kind of, I hate to say despicable, but they're also very interesting in that aspect. Like
Yes.
Guilfoyle. I want to I want to kill him every time I see him.
Yes.
But it's so interesting to see him. in
I
his
like
interaction.
him. Yeah, I do like. Yeah, and I like him.
But that's Martin Starr plays
Yes.
Guilfoyle.
Yeah.
He's so good.
Yes.
He's
in
And
that,
I've loved
but
him in everything,
it's-
knocked up and
he's
everything
the worst,
he's done.
man.
But like T.J. Miller's character, he plays Ehrlich. And,
Oh, God, yeah.
And
Oh, he's amazing.
He's amazing.
I
He is
like him.
he is
yeah.
one of the most despicable people on
He
the
is.
planet.
But you
He's
know what?
horrible.
He's the only one who really evolves. Like
Into
he doesn't.
what?
Wait,
no,
wait,
but
you
he
think he
evolved
evolves?
into?
No. Hear me out here.
I want to hear. I don't think he
He's
evolves.
the only one that shows. I think that shows growth. Like he doesn't. He
Where does he
starts
show
out.
growth?
He
Richard
starts
does.
out in the beginning, and everything is just. But then as he goes along, he's actually.
I get it.
They keep
Yeah,
focusing
I
on.
come-
I
it.
get it.
I see some of what you're
Because
saying.
You're right. By the end of the season, when he does the thing when he goes into the meetings, and he's still the jerk.
Yeah.
But then there's a later one when
There's a shift.
there's a shift, and he does step up.
Yes.
And then when they go to the thing, see, the thing is,
But
he does keep reverting. Like when he does the thing with the lights, and
Yes.
he's at
Well,
the
he's
show, and
T.J.
he's like,
Miller.
yeah,
I mean, he's good.
He's just horrible.
He
but-
is so
Yes.
he's so self-absorbed that it
But he
this guy
puts-
has the golden ticket.
Yes.
He
Yes.
is the guy who can change the universe, and somehow he thinks it's his deal.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like he has nothing to do with it other than he has 10% because he happened to
it
be
was his
lucky
house.
enough.
Yeah.
Because he happened
It
to
was
be
his
there.
house.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, oh my gosh!
he has
and
all
the
that
murals.
nice, but he has all that nice avion money
Yeah,
or whatever.
Aviago.
Aviago.
The whole premise is that Ehrlichman, he made all this money so he could have this house where people could live. He came up with an app for the internet called Aviago that he made some decent money with, but nothing
But
spectacular.
The way he
Yeah,
says it,
he's like
is
Aviago.
So
when I started
obnoxious.
So
Aviago, it's like,
pompous, yeah.
yeah,
But
you
he
started.
doesn't even just say
whatever.
Aviago. He's like Aviago.
Aviato.
He has like this
Aviato.
weird-
It is.
Aviato.
Aviato. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
Aviato.
But
Yeah.
when he hires the
The street artist to do the
the
mural.
Oh, yeah.
ex-con,
That's
like a
fantastic.
felon,
That is-
and he paints this garage door.
Warning to
And-
the older
No
folks
spoiler.
here. It is
so
filthy.
off color.
Yes. What they
and,
draw.
and
But it
it's
is
like you can't.
It is the
but
most
they can't-
amazing thing.
But he gets him into this jam, and he can't get out of it because the guy will get. If they cover it, they will get killed by the gang.
That was the funniest because when
No,
you first saw the guy, and he's like, "Hey, do you just come along and paint stuff?" Like, no, man, you get killed for doing stuff like that. And then the next thing you see is him paint this horrible
The
thing
garage
on his
door.
garage.
That's right.
And they're like, "You got to paint that over." He's like,
I can't. I will get killed. We will
killed.
seriously be in a drive-by. Yeah.
It's fantastic.
So that I
And
thought
then
that
he
was
convinces
funny.
the guy to paint over it, and it gets even worse.
Yeah.
even worse.
It's amazing.
It gets bad. See,
Because they put Ehrlich's face on it.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
I love Big Head.
yes.
Which Big Head doesn't have a lot to do, but I think it's an interesting character. It's just like, once again, this is why I think it's a lot like Office Space. Big Head is a lot like his buddies in Office
Yes.
Space. You know, like they're a well-defined character, but they're kind of one-dimensional, but you care about what's going on there.
Yeah, I like
And I
him.
love his story because I don't want to give it away, but he ends up with kind of the golden ticket too.
Yes.
For a guy like him, he wins the lottery
Yes,
basically.
he does. Oh, and it gets better late in season 2. Just want to say,
I can't wait.
Not to spoil it. It's fantastic what happens to him. So.
Yeah.
One of my favorites is the guy from The Office. Was he in The Office?
Oh yeah, Gabe.
Gabe.
Yes.
From the
Gabe.
Oh
It's
my
the guy
gosh!
that-
And when he gets in the shipping container.
Yes.
Yeah.
Zach.
I was
he
dying.
plays Donald. He plays Jared,
cracked
right?
me up.
Yes.
Yes, I liked him a lot.
Yeah, he's really good on this show.
yeah.
Well, you know, I thought that the show was going to be the four guys. I thought it was going to be Martin Starr.
And the
I don't.
buddy.
Yeah, his buddy,
Middle Ditch, the four of them,
and Big Head,
right?
Yeah.
And then I'm looking at the poster for season 1 or the picture on HBO, and it's got Gabe and not Big Head, and I'm like,
Right.
What happens? Well, it makes a lot of sense what happens, and that Gabe is a main character.
Right.
So I keep calling him Gabe. I don't know Jared is.
He's
name,
Jared.
right?
Yeah, his actual name is Donald, but they call him
Yes.
Jared. So
Yeah. Right.
One of the billionaires he worked for didn't get his name right, and so he was named Jared for the rest of his.
yeah,
He said the first day
Yeah.
called him Jared, so
Which
So
is
it's
like Parks and Rec.
yes, it's very
With
Parks and
Jerry.
Rec.
Damn it,
With
Jerry.
Gary.
Yeah.
And the other thing is about how politically correct that whole area, the Silicon Valley, is about making sure everything's proper and environmental and all this stuff, and how like at Hooli, like everything is very they have all the HR people that everything is like very proper and very there's no tension, there's no there's no aggression. It's all very like, and you're going to do this, and you're
Very
going to do this
fake,
job, and
yeah.
and
Well,
and then they talk about, well, you're going to be let go. Well, no, we look at it as a different career path.
Yeah.
That you're just not employed here anymore, but you can go someplace else.
Yeah, you
but
don't
it's
have
okay.
a position here. You don't actually have a job, but we didn't fire you.
Right. But
You
you're not going to
still
get
show up.
paid.
Well, what do I do when I show up? We'll figure that out.
Yeah.
It's
Exactly.
amazing.
We'll let you know.
The other thing I like is, you see this because like I've read Fast Company a lot. I love that magazine, and like there's always stuff about like Google and about these companies.
Sure.
And it looks really attractive from the outside. I was working this horrible
They're
job that like
shiny.
every day all I wanted to do was leave, and I would look at Fast Company and I'd see like Google's workspace and I'd be like, why can't we be something like that? Then you watch this show and you go, these guys hate it.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
not. Yeah.
I think no matter what you are in, you end up hating it at some point, and it does seem ridiculous. It looks great from the outside. Like they all get on one big bike. Like 9 people are on a bike, rolling around on this big bike, and that's how they have their meetings.
Right.
And I'm thinking that looks cool, and these guys are like, oh my God, the marketing guys are having this stupid bike meeting again. And you're like, you know what? If I was there, I'd probably be saying the same thing.
Sure.
It's a very clever show. I'm totally digging it.
Yeah. Well, so by the end.
You liked it?
Yeah, I want to see the next season. I really came around, but it did take me a while, and I don't know if it's.
So are you rooting for
just
the
me
whole thing about it's Gregory? Is that his name? Peter Gregory's
Peter Gregory.
assistant, Monica.
Yes.
I mean,
Oh,
I like that
shipping
whole.
them?
I like that whole. Well, I like the whole dynamic of between Richard and her.
Yes.
Yes.
And I'd like to see where that would possibly go.
Yes.
Because I think there's some of that where she's really trying to do. She's the pretty smart girl that can really help him out, and
She's
kinda
definitely
like,
out of his league. Let me just tell you.
What I mean, and I don't want to equate it to money. He is a genius.
Yes,
And
he
he's a great guy. So I always kind of have that rooting interest that he's going to make
Well,
it.
and
Oh,
she
absolutely.
doesn't seem like a gold digger. She just
No.
seems like genuinely interested in this guy because he's an interesting guy.
Sure.
Well, and a lot of times
Who can't make eye contact?
people,
Yes.
you attract people because they want to be a part of what you're creating. It's
Sure.
not necessarily.
Is that how I attracted you?
Yes.
Sure.
No, I attracted. No, I'm the one. Yeah, you came
That
to
you
me.
were creating?
Wait.
I'm creating, and what do you?
Now, wait, that's our creation talking out there.
Yes. Oh my. Okay, we don't talk about that here.
We don't talk about Fight Club. We don't talk about that.
So, but I think that to me that was very believable and very much natural because she would go towards people like creative.
Sure.
And they
Yeah,
and
it did
she's
seem
working
organic.
in an environment where she's
She's
just
surrounded by it.
stifled though.
Well,
like
you know,
you're
the
not
other- the
able
other
to be
thing-
really engaged in it. You're not allowed
The
to
other
do
thing
it.
that I like about it is this relationship part of it. A lot of times the relationship stuff is very obvious. It's very forced. And this doesn't seem that way at all. Like, they didn't play the relationship card right away.
No.
He was going there. She was the assistant. She was there. She would have interaction with him, but there was none of that. And when you finally figured out that she was interested in Richard,
Right.
it was really organic. I didn't feel like I was manipulated. I didn't feel like, okay, this is going to be Sam and Diane, and we're going to have to deal with this for a while. Although I think we are, because when things change
Sure.
at the end of season 1, it's like, oh, it just made this situation a little sticky for him.
It's a little more complicated.
But I still don't feel
it's a bit more
it's a Sam and
Mulder
Diane.
and
But see,
Scully than Sam and Diane.
There's
You
interest.
think
but
it's Mulder and Scully?
Sam and Diane were allowed to have a relationship.
Yeah,
you
but
know?
they for the longest time they didn't admit it,
Right.
and that's what
No,
I was
but
afraid would happen here. Is
but
these
I
two
think-
would have this
But
attraction.
I think they have a connection, but I don't think Richard really knows what to do. I
No,
don't think
because
he
he's
has
on the
any-
spectrum.
Right. Well, he has no idea. I mean, I think he's like, oh, this is great, but he's just into his work. He's like that
Right.
focus guy
Yes.
that came out, that is so focused on making
Yes.
this work that he can't do it. And
Yeah.
Yes.
What did you think of the kid storyline with the genius kid
Oh, that,
Oh, the
yeah,
genius
that was
kid?
great.
under the desk?
Like exactly that.
I love. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was great.
I thought that was
Especially
funny.
I was surprised at how that unfolded.
Right.
When you got to the point, there's a kid that they hire to do some work on their project, and you the whole time think what is going on is one thing, and then something happens and you go, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
like
Very funny.
wow. And then if you go back and watch it, you can kind of see the tells of
Oh, sure.
what this kid is about, and that was really good too. And very unexpected when they found him under the table. I was like, wait a minute,
Wait a second.
what happened?
Well, again, it's that that pick out the one character flaw and drive it to death.
and drive it. Yeah.
You-
Well, that's
you-
what Mike Judge does.
Well,
Yeah.
you kind of don't expect it. You're kind of like, hey, what's this kid going to do? And is he
Yeah.
going to be what he says he is? And then it's like, no, he's
How about when Guilfoyle's girlfriend shows up?
yes.
I mean, these guys, she
I
shows
love
up
the
and-
interaction. I love the
I thought-
chemistry between Guilfoyle and his buddy.
I can't think of his buddy's
Yes.
name. But yeah, so this guy, I mean, he's a huge computer nerd, right? And like these guys, if a girlfriend's going to show up, you expect it to be Amy Farrah Fowler.
Well,
And
when women
instead-
don't show up at
Right,
the, at
yeah.
the incubator.
There are no. One time a girl showed up at their house,
Right.
but the girl who shows up is like Katy Perry shows up.
Right.
And it's like, they're all just standing there like, oh, I love it because when she first shows up and they're like, this is Guilfoyle's girlfriend, not one of them can make eye
No
contact.
one can talk to
no,
her.
it's like,
Yeah.
Oh, hi. It's so funny.
It's very awkward.
Yeah.
It is. It's
It's
Painfully awkward.
It's almost like a realistic Big Bang Theory. You know, whereas
Yes.
Big Bang Theory is a big caricature of
Yeah.
nerd culture and
Sure.
these guys, and really unrealistic. This is
more.
This is
more
happening
believable.
somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
right now.
It-
I mean,
it-
it's almost
Besides
happening in this
here.
room.
Yeah, I was going to say
You know?
besides in here.
well, no, it is truer to what you would expect to have happen, where those guys would be
Yeah.
just into what they're doing because that's all they do. I mean,
Right.
they work and they just program,
Yeah.
and that's what they do.
You know, I remember reading an article about. Well, I think they did it in the Social Media movie too, in Social Network.
Right.
But I remember reading about. I can't think of his name. The guy that started Facebook.
Zuckerberg.
Oh,
Yeah, Zuckerberg.
Don't
Mark,
get me
that guy?
started.
Yeah.
How they would do like 20-hour jams of coding, and how like he personally sat there and like try to do as much as you can. You'd have like a 20-hour time limit to do as much as you possibly could in 20 hours. It's like I could see if you did like an hour. Like we're having a competition. We got 1 hour. They would go like 20 hours. Work on this. Jam. It's crazy.
Well, we could podcast for that.
Well,
We could do that.
we're doing a 12-hour one.
Yeah.
I'd like to make it longer, but I don't know if we can handle that.
I
But
think to start out 12
we're going to
hours is
start with
fine.
12 hours. One of our podcasters, we're going to do a 12-hour podcast marathon.
A fundraiser.
Fundraiser, yeah. That's going to be on August 1st.
Yep. Thank you, Jen.
9 a.m. to 9 p.m. And we're going to do it live on Meerkat and live on this and that and all the YouTube and everything, probably Twitch and Periscope and whatever else. But already, I announced it today to our podcasters because I said you guys should have first shot at getting slots on this. And it was funny because one of the guys immediately wrote, well, wait a minute. We can't go, but we should do one in Indiana. I should set up a 24-hour one, and we'll come out there. And I'm like, oh, my gosh,
Yeah,
no.
no.
Because it's fun to say it's going to be 24 hours, but who has to be there for 24 hours?
Right.
It's like the Jerry
He
Lewis
does.
telethon. He has to come out.
not
and,
me.
Like, yeah.
Not
No,
you.
and I
Not
get to
you.
leave. I've got Molly, so I get to
Yeah.
go. Oh,
Martha
gotta
would
go.
be like, oh, we went swimming today. What did you do?
Yeah, we watched.
I was at the
movies, went
24-hour podcast marathon.
You wouldn't sell.
Yeah. Oh, you
It'd be
heard
sign
me.
language.
Oh, his
It'd be
voice.
sign
Heard me
language,
after
yes.
some of
Yeah.
these things.
I did.
After the 10 hours of podcasting one weekend with Sci-Fi, I was
Yeah.
toast at the end of that thing.
Yeah.
This is going to be brutal.
It is. This could be long.
You know what? I'm already
It's-
thinking
and
we
it's
should
for a
expand
good
it to 20
cause.
hours, though. We'll probably do that. We'll see what
We'll
happens.
take it across the street to Martini Room.
We
and
could
do
go have a
that,
little break over there. Sure. Okay. Wait. Are we still talking about this show?
We need to, don't we?
What else happened in this show? No, that would
Oh
be
no,
torture.
that would be the worst.
So the show ends up that he's Richard is trying to develop this program and trying to get it funded and trying to become a real company, and they go to, they call it, what is it? It's not a bake off. It's a tech rip or something like that.
Yeah.
Where-
Well, it's one of those things where you go. I mean, I can't think.
They have a few minutes to present
It's
their
like Shark
technology,
Tank, but for technology.
Right.
And then they base it on the certain score, the Weikler score.
some
or
Weiss,
something,
I think it's called
some,
the Weissman score.
Some
Yeah.
score that
Well, they
shows
were measuring
how.
that specifically because the
Yeah.
tech they had was about the speed and the compression,
Right.
and this Weissman score is what determines that. But not all the things in the competition have to do with that. It's really just like presenting tech and apps,
Right.
And they have
and you have
judges.
judges, and it's a lot like Shark Tank.
Shark Tank is a good
Yeah.
analogy
And
of
the
it. So.
winner would be the one that is going to attract funding and.
Sure.
If they had a Kickstarter going, it would draw like crazy attention to Kickstarter or whatever it is. And it's a way for guys like this, Peter Gregory might pick up some things
Right.
there,
And
whatever.
you see what's going on. So they go into this, and basically they look at what they have, and Richard freaks out and goes, "What we have isn't going to work because of a whole bunch of stuff with
glitch,
Huli
yeah.
found a glitch or whatever." And he basically, the night before the final presentation, rewrites his program
This
into
sounds
the,
like us.
Yes, the super program, and they go and do this Weissman thing, and it's off the charts. It's
Yeah.
It goes from it would
the
be like
top
a
score was a
100 to
2.7.
right? And they double it.
Yeah,
like
they
They
did
got
like a 5.9 or
No,
something.
5.2.
5.2. And like it's shocking. I mean, it's revolutionary. And
We're not even spoiling any.
no, we're really not because it's just a great lead in.
right. So they get to be the top of the world, and then it's just going to open the door to season 2 where
Yeah.
there's going to be even more
And
problems. I'm sure.
that doesn't
So-
tell you anything about the journey getting there or anything. And it's
no.
not like it wasn't like a show where you get to the end and you have that climax and you're like, okay, because really all this was like setting the table for what's going to come.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they leave it. I mean, not I want to say totally open, but it is the next progression in the story of they've got this thing, they've built it, they have the idea. Hey, it's great. Now what's going to happen? Because
Now,
there is a lot that can happen.
How many
So,
episodes was this? Was this 8 or 10?
I think it's 8. I think it's
Yeah.
8 each, or maybe it's 10 on each. I
Okay,
think it's
so
10.
it's a short binge.
Yeah.
And each episode is like 40 minutes.
I think it's 30. I think it's under 30. It's a half-hour slot on HBO.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's like 20. It's the full 30, but it's 30 minutes.
So it's 30 minutes. But
Yeah.
we went through this pretty quickly. So yeah, that's probably right. 30 minutes sounds about right.
Wait, 30-minute what? I was
The show
Each
is
episode.
30
Did
minutes.
you space out? Food
No,
coma.
it's an hour. I mean, they're 45. Yeah.
Bring her
The
caffeine
45?
every 10
Yeah,
minutes
oh,
till
yeah,
she
it's a
passes out,
regular-
then make it every 5.
Yeah, Rob, it's the regular show. It's 45.
It's 45.
Is it?
Chris is the one that said it was
I
30.
thought it was 30.
How many episodes were there? 8? You look.
I don't have.
saying it to
I don't have
you.
it up right now. As they are at number 17 as of this week, so it's possible that it's 10. I have to
Yeah.
look. So
Yeah, it's a regular hour. I mean,
no,
like
the first season was 8. Second season is 10.
Okay,
Okay.
but
So
how
was it-
long is it?
I don't know.
Oh, who cares? It's
I care.
it's like 30 minutes. We went through it quickly.
45.
45.
Let's
We'll go
go
with
with
45.
45.
I'm fine with
We'll
that.
split the difference.
But it was a quick 45 because we powered through it fast, and I don't know. Let's get to that part of it.
What?
Binge worthy, is it?
Yes.
Oh, I absolutely think so. Yeah.
100%.
It might take a little bit to get into, but if you're like me, but it's
So
You know what? I appreciate those shows that take a little bit of building because it wasn't like all out there and you're saying, oh, that's great, and then you're
Right.
always
Right.
trying to keep up with it. This built a story, and there's likable characters, even though most of them are despicable.
I think that's
So-
what makes it a great binge because all the cards are not flipped in episode 1. There's just enough that you're interested and you want to see what happens, but you may not be hooked. And by the end, you're hooked.
Oh, yeah.
But we should come up with some kind of way. I mean, just saying binge-worthy, maybe we should have like
Let's
a
do
low,
a
medium,
rating
high.
system.
Some kind of rating system. What do you think? So binge-worthy, if it's binge-worthy, that's the top tier. So we need some kind of tier system. Anybody have any ideas for us? Yeah.
It's a 10-star scale. 10 stars is binge-worthy. 1 is
I think we need to go smaller.
Yeah, we need to go smaller. Yeah, I think we got because it's like I like the one burn it, rent it, buy it.
Well, should it be
So this
one?
should be-
Should we do it in one sitting? Like, is total binge worthy? You could watch the whole thing in one session.
Well,
or
yeah, but that doesn't count because like True Detective is binge worthy. We'll get there.
Oh,
yeah,
but it's
true.
hard.
But you
It's
can't do that in one sitting. You can get
No,
through one episode,
that
and
is
then it's
hard
like
to watch.
my head. I need to
Yeah.
go curl up
I
in a corner for
struggle
a while.
with that one. I
But
can't
it's
binge that
so
show.
good.
It's so good.
You
Yeah,
need
but I'm
a
still
48-hour
calling it binge
cooldown.
because
Yeah.
because we are
Wayward Pines is
binging.
binge worthy. Like I could sit through Wayward Pines in one sitting.
Okay,
do you
so-
watch that?
So
okay,
maybe
we'll
that's
do that as one of these.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's how we need
Is
to
one
define
sitting.
it. One sitting is binge worthy.
one
Doesn't
sitting
mean you
or
can.
space it out.
Doesn't mean you can do it in one sitting because like Game of Thrones season
Or
1,
don't bother.
you can't watch the whole thing.
Okay, let's call
Well,
it.
yeah, because it's too long. But that would be of absolute binge.
All right, I got the 3.
Okay.
Binge worthy, space it out,
Is somebody writing this down?
don't bother.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
Like space
Well, I
it
think
out
we need.
would mean
I think we need something else besides the space it out.
why? It just means that it's not binge. You can't sit and you wouldn't be able to enjoy it all in one sitting.
Okay.
Or
Okay. How about worth the watch?
You want 4? Binge worthy.
Don't bother.
space
Worth the
it
watch.
out.
Space it out.
I think we
Binge
need.
worthy.
I think we need one that you can watch it if you have nothing better to do, or
That would be like the one you said.
Worth the watch.
worth the watch.
Worth the watch. I think worth the watch. Space it out. I don't know if that one works though.
Well,
Fill
this-
your time's a good one.
Okay, but wait a
Fill your
second.
time.
There you go. Fill your time with
Space
binge.
Worth
it
the
out,
watch.
Space it out is really important, and let me tell you why. Because a show like True Detective,
Gotta
we
call it
cannot
Space It Out.
ever say that is binge worthy. It would explode your brain.
Gotcha.
But it is important to watch. But
Yeah,
you got
but
to
you know
space
what?
it out.
But
Just
you know
space
what?
It out.
I think
I'm
that
sticking
no,
with that one.
I'm with it too. I think we have our thing. Don't bother.
Mm-hmm.
What was the one you said, Edward?
Fill your time.
Fill your time.
Or kill time. Kill time.
Worth the watch.
Worth the watch.
Which one do you like better? Oh, for crying out loud.
Let's take a vote. Kill your time or worth your time?
Kill your time.
Kill your time. Hands up. I need
If
to
it's
see it.
if it's kill, it would be kill time. I think it would be
Killing time?
killing time, or wasting time.
No,
No.
but not waste of time.
No,
Killing time.
killing
Killing
time.
time. Okay.
Killing time. Worth the watch.
Space it out.
No, wait. We're
No.
going to get to that. Killing time.
You don't
worth.
say no.
So it's
No.
The bottom is don't bother.
Yeah.
Don't bother.
Killing time. Worth the watch
Yeah.
because that's something different. That's not killing time. It's worth the effort. And then binge worthy and binge worthy.
But no,
wait, listen
Right.
to me.
No,
Stop.
I like
Go
where
ahead.
you're going with this.
Binge worthy. Then once we determine it's binge worthy, then we say whether you space it out or one
Okay,
sitting.
got it. I'll go
But
with
binge
that.
I
worthy
think that's
is
good
the
because,
I will
yeah.
agree with that.
because Silicon Valley binge worthy one sitting.
One sitting.
Yeah.
True Detective binge worthy.
I would not
space
put this
it
on par with
out.
True Detective.
No, but it's a binge worthy.
It is binge. It's binge worthy, but I give it a lot less stars.
Right. We're not going by stars because if you go by stars,
I'm just saying. I don't agree that it's that binge worthy.
but it is a binge worthy. Would you take your
What
binge
are
worthy?
my other choices? I would
It's-
say
it's
it's
not-
worth the watch.
What
for
is
me.
Silicon Valley?
Yeah, I would say it's worth the watch, but it's not.
Okay.
It's not a blow your mind
That's-
Breaking Bad or True Detective.
That, you know what?
Okay,
That's
okay.
actually a pretty good point
my
you make.
gosh,
I like
That
that.
is.
You have no idea what your approval means to me.
Yeah,
'Cause
nothing.
I get it so
I said that's a
rarely.
good.
So we just changed Silicon Valley to worth the watch.
Yes.
Yes.
Because to be a true binge worthy, it's got to be all three of us agreeing on it.
Okay. And
So-
do you agree that it was that
Worth
it's
the
not
watch.
as good as?
It is not as good as those. Do I love it? Yeah, I love it.
I
And
have
I really
fun
want to
with
jump
it.
into the second one.
Yeah,
But-
definitely.
But
Yes.
you said Breaking Bad. We mentioned Sopranos
But,
before.
but let me throw
mean,
this
those
out
are-
there in your argument of it. Well, I mean, we've already
Yeah.
taken care of that.
But that's-
You can't watch Breaking Bad in one sitting. Your head's
yes,
gonna
I
explode.
would.
But wait a minute. But wait a minute. But wait a
We
minute.
did.
But wait a minute.
Yeah.
I think that when you say one sitting, It's however much you can tolerate
How many
in one
hours?
sitting. Because, Breaking Bad is multiple seasons. The
Right.
way we're doing this show is we're doing a season at a time. So
Right.
if we decide next time we do this, we're doing Breaking Bad season 3, that's what we're doing.
Okay.
He
And you
I
determine.
did binge it.
Yes.
Binge.
That's true.
Now,
because I did that with Walking Dead. I watched them all in one.
Can you
I
do
could
it?
watch
Now-
I could watch 6
Now,
episodes.
let's say it's a
of
show
Walking
that's 24 episodes. You can't do it in
Right.
one sitting, but it might be one sitting worth it.
Yeah.
Sure.
So that might mean that
Okay.
each night you're powering through 6 hours.
Right. It doesn't
That
mean
is-
that you're doing
that
it all
is
in one night. It just
binge-worthy.
means that you can watch it in clumps.
Yes.
So I could watch Breaking Bad. I could.
You know what
sit
we
there for
almost
6
watched this
hours.
week?
Oh my
You know-
gosh, you're going
you know
on
what we almost
killing,
did this week?
Just like the killing.
On Netflix, they put the Spanish version of
Oh.
Breaking Bad. It is
It
like
was so
it's
good,
like a
but we
shot
couldn't
for shot
understand a word
remake
they
of
were
Breaking
saying.
Bad. It's amazing.
It was
but it's in
brilliant.
Spanish. Martha's like, can we get it so it's subtitled? It's going to be the same. We
It
could
is
just take the
so good.
dialogue
I would
from
watch it.
Breaking Bad. It's so good.
I
That's
couldn't
funny.
turn it off, but I didn't know what they were saying, and I'm going, oh my gosh, there are
But
the pants.
you see the
and
guy
there's that,
driving the
and
van at the beginning, and he's in his
But it's a
underwear.
school bus.
Yeah, it's different. It's not.
It's
the
not a
van.
Winnebago,
Oh,
huh?
it's
What,
so
Jenny?
good. It makes me want to learn Spanish.
Oh my gosh, it was brilliant.
You can pick it up while you're watching it.
But-
so
but
you know what,
yeah,
what methane is in
Yeah.
Spanish. That's
So,
good.
El
so
meth?
what we've determined is
El
this
metho.
is worth your time. We're all good to go.
I wonder if El Pollo Hermanos, if they do Chicken Brothers.
Oh yeah,
in
they would
this.
make it
Like, if they make it
American.
the American
What's
version.
robot chicken in Spanish? That's what I
Robot
want to know.
chicken?
Roboto.
Mr. Roboto.
Pollo robato.
Pollo
Pollo
robato.
robato.
Pollo Roboto. Mr. Roboto. Pollo Pollo.
All right, we're good. Let's
Pollo
go.
Pollo.
What's
So-
the next show?
Next
What?
show.
Man,
Nice.
this is
Jenny?
awesome.
Should we do Wayward Pines?
No, we can't.
We have to wait
do
till it
Wayward
all
Pines.
comes out.
It's got to be completed. We got to
Do
wait.
we have to do
No,
Sensei?
we just did a season.
Do you want to do Sense8?
What? Wait,
Uh-oh.
what now? What's that?
out?
That doesn't
That's
sound
that's the
like my
Wachowskis one that's on Netflix.
That's on Netflix.
Sensei, what's it about?
Nope, not this time.
No, sorry.
All right,
Let's
wait.
do-
What's Sensei?
Sense8.
Sense8.
Oh, that sounds better.
It is about.
I was like, yes, Sensei,
It's a very,
I don't want that.
It's a very X-Men-ish
Oh, no.
type. Well, no, I'm just saying what it is
Okay.
all of a sudden 8 people wake up and they can all communicate
Oh,
each
yeah.
other.
Oh, we talked about
We talked
that.
about that, and they're out the
See,
world.
I
They're
remember
throughout the
things.
world, and it looks.
Yeah.
Yes, let's
Okay.
do that.
Spectacular.
Can we do Sense8?
I'm in.
Sense8?
I'm in.
All right. Now, here's the next question. As long as we're doing this on our first episode and trying to establish things, I don't think I can wait a month to do this again. I don't think this can be a monthly show. I think we got to go bi-monthly. What do you guys think? Can we do it every 2 weeks?
Bi-weekly. you
Would
mean.
the audience?
Every 2 weeks.
Would the
Every 2 weeks.
audience
Bi-weekly is twice a
wanna
week.
see it? Twice a
Bi-monthly
week?
is twice a month.
No, bi-weekly is every 2
Oh
weeks.
dear Lord!
No, it isn't.
Yes.
Bi-monthly.
Bi-monthly is every 2 months.
Every other month.
Every other month.
Biannually is twice a year,
no,
right?
bi-monthly is every other month.
What?
Yes.
Yes.
Bi-weekly
Bi-weekly.
is every other week. Okay, but would the audience even want to see this show?
I'm
twice a month?
bi-tarded.
Okay, one person.
I'm trying.
Did you like it?
Did we like this show? Is Binge-worthy good? Can people on Meerkat and all this, can you write in
Can
and
they
say whether you
vote?
like this show? I just want to know. We're almost done with this. We're about to go into Super Fight.
We'll
So
try to do
put
a
on
better
there,
job next time.
Put hashtag yes binge-worthy if you liked it. Hashtag no binge-worthy. No, if you didn't like it.
And we'll exclude those votes. No. I'm teasing.
And we'll cry.
I like it.
And
You know
then-
I
what?
thot it was good.
Hashtag
Hey,
shut up. We're
if
doing
we
it.
could do- if we could
but
do
let's do it
counterculture,
every
we
other
could
week.
do this,
Are you guys
so.
good with every other
Well,
week?
counterculture.
Every other
Yeah,
week, yeah.
I'm
that'd
fine.
be
All right.
fine.
So every other week we're going to do binge-worthy
Okay,
now.
so the
it's
next
official.
one
So all those
is
posters we
Sensei.
printed out,
8.
all those posters we printed out are worthless.
Sense8.
We now
We may do this. We could let's.
We'll
talk
make it
about
work.
We'll make it work.
We'll talk about it. We like to
Sense8
talk
is the
about
next
it.
one we're doing.
Okay, Sense8. So watch
Sense8.
it.
And we can't
If
do
you
Wayward
want to be
Pines
more
until it's
involved
done.
in the conversation.
Yeah. And please,
Spell it.
those of you at home, those of you here,
SENS8.
if you want to join in,
Like
watch it. It's
SEN,
on
like the number eight.
Netflix.
Hang on.
It's on Netflix.
The number
It's
8?
Number 8.
Sense8. SENS8.
Oh, the number 8.
If you
Like
go to Netflix, it's going to be
skaters.
on new releases. It's like the first thing on there right now.
Okay. We've gone into super fight time.
All right, well, that's it. Let's wrap it up. Thank you guys
I
so
might as
much
well
for
just
watching
stay here.
Binge-worthy. I think we have a hit. I'm excited about this show. I think this is fun.
Okay.
And that's it. Thank you, Blue Box.
you have it written
Thank
down
you,
what they are?
Yes.
Meerkat and everybody out there. And hashtag yes Binge-worthy. That's what I want to see. Thanks a lot, everybody.
Yay! Thank you.
Have a good night.